Unless you guys are able to master this one simple skill that all wealthy people have had to acquire in order to get where they are, then your chances of being able to join them are, I'm sorry to say, but pretty slim. In this video, I'm going to give you my best advice when it comes to saving and accumulating your money. So, I know so far on my channel, all I've really talked about is real estate investing, and sure, even though that sounds great, I understand that for some of you it might seem like an unobtainable goal or just something that would have to happen too far out into the future to even be worth thinking about right now, but I want to assure you with, the willingness to build up some of your skills and a little bit of discipline, it can happen much sooner than you think. There's almost like this unspoken rule that says in order to hang on to and grow the money you have, you almost need to have gone through that period of struggling and watching every dollar in order to build your nest egg. An example of this would basically be how, I'm sure you've maybe heard of this, how lottery winners statistically go broke within, X number of years after they win. And the reason for this is because just making a large amount of money does not at all ensure that you're going to have long term wealth. You need to practice and ultimately master the skill of handling your money and putting away some percentage of what you make, no matter how low your income is. There's basically two different schools of thought when it comes to accumulating money. One tells you to focus heavily on every dollar you spend in order to save as much as possible, while the other one pretty much tells you, don't worry too much about refraining from the stuff you feel like you want, but rather just tirelessly work towards increasing your income so you don't really have to worry about that spending as much. I personally think the healthiest mix is a combination of both, where you definitely need to be on top of your spending, you want to be cutting expenses and refraining from buying things that you don't need, while also constantly putting in some effort to try to grow the income that you currently make. Either way you decide to go, you're definitely going to need to start keeping much better tabs on the inflows and outflows of your money. The first thing I think is pretty much a non-negotiable and something that I actually do every day is tracking every dollar you spend and earn throughout the month or even throughout the day. This is something I've been doing for a long time and I've found it super helpful. Just look at those numbers and start cutting out the things you don't need. Like, go through your bank statements and realize, oh, I bought this Fiji water for $7 5 times last month. It's like, you don't need that. Come on. Just cut that silly stuff out and start being more frugal. Depending on how aggressively you want to start saving money is going to determine how strict you need to be with cutting down on your spending. I think budgets can be great and I definitely encourage you to use one, but to be honest, I've actually never really had myself on a strict budget. All I really do, like I mentioned before, is analyze my spending daily and monthly and just look, am I spending recklessly here? Okay, I could have gone without that. And cut everything out that I can. It's pretty much a constant effort to try to spend less and earn more. Once you have all these numbers figured out, you can actually start seeing exactly, how much your net worth is increasing or decreasing by on a monthly basis. Just look at everything you spent, look at everything you brought in, and you're going to see, okay, you're either going to see I'm breaking even. Oh, great, I made $500 more than I spent. That's awesome. You literally just grew your net worth by $500. Or in, the worst case scenario, maybe you're accumulating debt or using credit cards to cover your expenses, and you're not even making enough money to break even essentially. Once you start keeping track of these numbers, you're going to know where you're at every month and you're going to see, what you need to change. You're either going to be reinforced by the pleasant surprise that you actually spent less than you made, therefore, accomplishing your goal of saving money, or you're going to see nothing's happening. I'm still paycheck to paycheck. I need to do more. I feel like you can often compare it to like trying to lose weight, if you're feel like you're on a diet, but every morning you step on the scale and month after month and you're not losing any weight, then you need to tighten up your calorie intake. The same way with, in this financial sense, you're going to need to tighten up your spending. I will admit I personally am pretty extreme when it comes to the whole ideology of saving money and investing, so I understand if it seems like, you don't want to limit yourself, and you want your day-to-day life to be as enjoyable as possible. But, again, I'm just trying to help you if your goal is accumulating money. And yes, tomorrow I could get mauled by a rogue herd of wild badgers, and then the joke would be on me. Maybe I should have had more fun and kind of, lived more for the day. But for me personally and my goals, I'm willing to take that risk, and that's the reason I try to save so aggressively. I'm just telling you that if you're really serious about accumulating money in order to invest and grow your nest egg, then you're going to have to take some sacrifices in the short term. At least me personally, I'm willing to take this risk in order to ensure a higher possibility of a better future. I also personally find that the pleasure of buying nice things is really short lived, so I just don't know if for me it's really worth it. At the end of the day, I'm convinced that if you get a little creative when it comes to having fun for free and avoiding buying fancy or lavish things, your quality of life overall isn't actually going to decrease. And, it's like more of a mental thing. In the long run, you could actually live a life that's just as fulfilling and fun, and you won't really feel that much different than somebody who's blowing extravagant amounts of cash on, nice fancy things. Ultimately, you're just going to go back to your baseline. You buy a nice thing, it's going to make you happy for a little bit, but then eventually you go back down. For people that are doing extravagant things all day long, eating at five-star restaurants every night, taking yachts here and there, private jets, this and that, like, that might be cool at first, but at the end of the day, their baseline is the same as yours and mine. If you follow my advice, you might actually find that kind of the sense of security and satisfaction that you get from achieving this goal and seeing the balance in your bank account increase and some of those options opening up for you, that might ultimately bring you more joy than even spending that extra money on some of that unneeded, more, fancy, lavish stuff that you were before. And the thing is too, all this sacrifice is for a common goal in the future. Doing this right is going to give you the opportunity later in life to live like so few people can, where your investments have just snowballed so much that you have the ability to travel, help out family if they need it, kind of do whatever you want with your time, again, be able to help people while still having assets to retire with and even pass on to your children after you pass away. I really want to encourage you to try this. Give it 6 months and see what happens, If you found that refraining from spending money on the things you want made you miserable, then please go back to blowing through every penny you earn for the rest of your life and just never even think about the concept that there might be a day after today that you could benefit from having done this. If you're anything like me, you might start getting addicted to that feeling of saving money and watching your investments and savings grow. It's just a really nice feeling, and I feel like it'll open so many options up for you. I just really want to encourage you to try. For my next video, I'm going to go into a lot more detail about investing for beginners, where I would start, things along those lines. So please subscribe to the channel so you guys can be ready when that one comes out. And other than that, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. Give it a like and leave a comment and help me figure out what my next video should be about after the one that I just explained is going to be about investing. Thanks so much again for watching. I hope your day is filled with joy, cheer, laughter, gingerbread cookies, mistletoe, all that stuff.